Is it Pelia or Pella?
Pelia.
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 I think it's P. Leia, like Princess Leia.
He is the worst best friend you can have.
Captain's Pod, stardate, whatever the day is today.
That's my line.
And I'm joined, as always, by the man who is already upset before he started watching TV, Whittington.
I'm doing good. How are you today?
How are you today?
Yeah, I'm great. How are you?
Good.
How is it taking the reins?
Oh, it's great. You know, I feel like when you take the reins of a starship, you should be ready for the responsibility, the power.
Mm-hmm. It's weird that you only installed reins. That was your only command.
Yeah.
You installed literal reins so that you could steer the ship from your chair.
There is something that we have not seen.
Reins on a starship? Yeah, no fucking duh.
We've seen a little controller pop out.
Oh, I take it back.
We haven't
it's not so stupid. Yeah, we saw the Riker, the Riker control joystick.
Okay, if I had a starship and I had unlimited resources and I know that it would not cause massive damage to anyone, I would ask engineering to find a way to hollow project reindeer or horses on front, and then just engineer like straps that maybe I'm not actually driving. No, I'm driving. I'm absolutely driving.
Yeah.
And just like the little bitty pulls and pushes, not you can't push a rein. The little bitty pulls of the rein and like the communication with the holographic animals would be the way that you pilot the ship.
So are you saying that the reindeer are pulling the ship through space?
It would look like that.
Okay, but what's actually happening is that your reins are connected to the engines and the steering. It looks
like that. But everyone knows I shouldn't have that responsibility.
Oh, so it's even more complicated. So I have an
Ortegas.
Yeah. You have somebody that is looking at you and then interpreting every move that you make and then steering the ship so that you think you're flying it.
So behind me, a big mirror. Okay. I turn Ortegas's
No.
No.
Mirror behind you does nothing.
You haven't even let me finish yet.
So continue.
Big mirror behind me. Turn Ortegas's little station to where she can face me and see out
no, but then just
if
put
she
the fucking
needs
mirror.
to.
No. Just put the mirror in front of her. Then she doesn't have to move.
She doesn't need the mirrors, though.
What do you mean she doesn't need the mirror?
You should be able to pilot without the mirror, without the thing open.
Yeah, but you don't need to turn her station around. Just put the mirror in front of her.
We need to make eye contact.
You do not.
100%.
I think that's going to be more off-putting.
It's going to be amazing.
That is going to make you so sad. If you see that she is watching you.
No, she's good.
I'm doing this to protect your immersion.
Subtle. She's so subtle.
No, because her station is turned. Everyone else is faced forward. She's the only one that's facing you.
Yeah.
Super subtle.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's just to give everyone else the confidence that they need that she's in charge.
Yeah.
That's more for them than it is. And I do want to make eye contact with Ortegas a couple times and do like a little pre-discussed wink. And she knows what that means. And that's just me pulling on the reins. And we just go straight up and back and around and do like a little curly cue, whirly woo.
The Santa loop-de-loop.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. And at the same time, I would then, that wink also would indicate to whoever else is in charge. Again, I'm not a captain. I don't know these things. So this is my imagination. That we would, what do they do sometimes? They eject some sort of space stuff to make it look sprinkly out the back.
Just for fun?
Yeah, for fun.
They've never done that.
Bleed the nacelles or like whatever. I want to vent the nacelles.
Venting drive plasma.
Yes, I want to vent a little bit, as long as it's okay.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Maybe but so that it looks like I'm like curly cueing in the sky, and then like just shoot off at warp to the North Pole, just at least once.
There's so much wrong with that, but it would look incredible.
I want to do it so bad.
Everyone might die. You'd probably ignite the plasma.
No way.
If you jump straight to warp, you'd probably ignite the plasma.
Fuck. Okay, this is why I have to have a couple of debrief meetings before doing this.
This shouldn't be an on the spot. This shouldn't just be between you and Ortegas. There should be an actual engineer present.
If we ever decided...
And a lawyer.
Yeah. How do you like my intro today?
It was great. Can I take just one of the reins back?
Yeah, I think you should, because we should start the show.
Yeah. So, this week's episode, Ambassador, is Season 3, Episode 6, The Sehlat Who Ate Its Tail. Last week, I teased you with this because I wanted a prediction, because you know what a Sehlat is.
Fuck, do I? I don't know.
Do. So I'm going to tell you now, because you've had a week to not think about it, clearly. And it is from the animated series. This is Spock's pet. He has a pet Sehlat.
Oh my god.
And it's that big dragon-looking thing.
Oh, and we saw that in the animated show.
Yeah, we did.
Because it was,
Big
he mentioned it in TOS.
Correct.
And then it was animated, and this is the buddy that died for him.
Exactly. Yes, for young Spock.
2 of hims.
Yes.
Oddly.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted him to die of old age. But I think he died then, didn't he?
Oh, the Sehlat?
No, what the fuck, dude? I don't want Spock to die at all.
Do you have any predictions now that you know what a Sehlat is?
I am really wondering if Spock is going to be talking about his dog friend, because technically he would have the memory of a child leaving his dog to die.
Yes, right now he would not know. Wait, no, he might.
But he wouldn't have a memory of the adult going back, because that hasn't happened yet.
But it has happened.
I mean, like, well, because that happened in TOS, right?
Yeah, but
when he went back as an adult,
correct,
to his childhood,
yes,
he thought he was an uncle. And he has this revelation in the animated series that it wasn't really the uncle, it was him.
Yes.
So right now, our Spock probably still thinks that was his uncle.
Yes, even though young Spock did realize he maybe forgot that memory. So he won't re-remember that until his adult version goes back in time.
But it's strange because it feels like the eating your own tail thing where you're going back on yourself. It feels like what they're doing with with that episode already. So I'm kind of hoping that they don't do that, because we've already done it. Like,
it would be awesome if he
done?
just acknowledged, if like there's some acknowledgement there about the Sehlat from his, because there is an Ouroboros-ness to bootstrap paradoxes, because how does young Spock not remember when old Spock came back and always came back? So like old Spock should know that young Spock, there should be a complete circle there. So maybe they're going to address that.
I hope not, because it seems like they're making it, it's the title of the episode. So it seems to be the purpose of this episode, not like a little wink and a nod. Yeah. A wink and a nod I'd be fine with, but this seems to be more like the point.
Could be more metaphorical. We could just, because I mean, it's a pretty obscure episode. So maybe they're not going to, I would be surprised if they lent on it too heavily, to be honest.
So I have no idea. I mean, it makes sense that it would be about Spock. Those are the only 2 things I know about is what's already been produced. But we're in that middle ground, so that's not our Spock. He's not the little boy, and he's not the TOS Spock.
He is neither. We are somewhere in between.
Yeah.
Yep. My prediction...
No real predictions.
Yeah, my prediction, if we hadn't had a time travel episode last week, it would have been a bit more time travel, and maybe... And it's interesting, because I know that they were going to do a TAS-style episode, the animated series, in Strange New Worlds. Like, the entire episode was going to be animated, like, in that style, but they couldn't pull it off. For whatever reason, they didn't do it. And I wonder if this was going to be that episode. So I wonder if my prediction is that it actually might tie in to the animated series in some way. That's my overall prediction.
Yeah, my last thought would be that it's some kind of a saying. Like, some kind of a...
Proverb.
Proverb from the... Okay, this is so bad. The Spockians.
The Spockians?
I don't remember what Spock is.
Vulcans.
Yeah, that's it. God.
He's
so in my head is just Spock. He's just Spock.
He is. Yeah, the Vulcans are Spock.
I totally forgot about the word Vulcan. So I think it might be a Vulcan proverb. Oh, before we go, sorry, I know you guys want to talk about the show, but we have a little bit of show news. As a reminder, for anyone who is wanting to watch the show live, we're moving it to its new platform starting September 1st. If you watch on YouTube, youtube.com/@Ian and Deneé. So you have to have the @ in there. If you want to watch on Twitch, it's twitch.tv/Deneé says, and the links are in the description of this podcast.
And if you want early access to episodes and an ad-free version of the show, head over to our Patreon channel, which is Ian and Deneé.
This might be the longest intro we've ever done.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
Talk to me, Mal. Welcome to 10 Forward, the part of the show where we grab something from the replicator and share our immediate thoughts and feelings on the episode we just watched together. Most importantly, first, what we got back didn't last long, fortunately. It's Commodore Dicer!
Oh, hello! It's me!
And in stereo. He's here.
In stereo? Really? Am I recording in stereo?
Are you? Are you not? We are.
No, why would I be?
Why wouldn't you be?
Because I don't have two mouths on different sides of the room. I don't know.
You know what that's about? I thought it was. Oh, I thought you were gonna like feed in some background noises. Dang it. Well, welcome out of the pattern buffer.
Thank you.
Fingers crossed you stay out of the pattern buffer this week. There was some part of Branson that did not like your location and kept trying to suck you out, blow you out.
Sure, Ian. Whatever you say. Probably the whole of Branson.
Yes, the whole of Branson was blowing you out. Amazing. Ambassador, give us a synopsis of this week's episode. Wait, no, we haven't done the most important thing, the actual most important thing, which is what would you like from the replicator, Ambassador?
Whatever was in the whiskey bottle, unless it's whiskey, in which case I don't want it, and I want to have something that's sweeter.
Some Aldebaran whiskey?
Okay, if that is sweet, you know how they say that everybody has like that drink that they can't have anymore after they have an incident with it from, consuming a little bit too much. Yeah. Mine was like a Jack Daniels. Well, it was Jack Daniels.
It's fair.
It's very strong. And I think that's like just a whiskey flavor. Because every time I have anything that's a whiskey, I can't have it. Am I wrong?
It's a bourbon flavor, which is different to whiskey.
Okay, then I can have whatever was in that bottle.
Oh yeah, you can. It's probably Aldebaran, which is not from Tennessee. I don't think you're allowed one measure of whiskey, Ambassador.
Okay,
just the one. Commodore, what would you like?
I would like to drink Kirk's tears.
Yep.
Oh wow, he didn't cry this episode and has never canonically cried. I'm sure he has canonically cried.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure he's cried at some point. But that's gross. And I would like.
Or is it fan? It's like a fan thing. It could be a fan thing. Like you want to be.
No, that would be. I would want Kirk's bath water. That's different.
Yeah,
if you want to drink somebody's tears, it means you want. Because
I just want to be close to him.
You want them to suffer more. I cannot wait to dive into that. I would like Kirk's eyebrows, not because I think he would look ridiculous without them, but because I want them. They're very expressive, and I would like those eyebrows. Before we get into some, frankly, insane predictions that the Commodore won't know about because he's joining us right now, give us a synopsis, Deneé.
After you say what you want from the pattern buffer drink thing.
I did. I Kirk's eyebrows.
Oh.
Oh, it doesn't have to be a drink? I thought it had to be a drink.
I said something. I said you can choose something. Doesn't have to be a drink.
You would print his eyebrows?
No.
For refreshment. Which was in the question. For refreshment.
I want to take... I didn't say refreshment. The quote is, we grab something from the replicator.
Rewind the tape.
I did not know. Welcome to 10 Forward, the part of the show where we grab something from the replicator.
I know what you've got written down. I just want the tape rewound for what you actually said that wasn't in what was written down.
I'm burning the tape as we record. So there is no record of this. Nothing is there. I'm so sorry.
I have always interpreted it as a drink because earlier on it was always a drink.
Initially was always a drink. And my show notes actually still say drink. But I definitely said something. Something.
If you go back and you actually listen to it and you're wrong, are you going to send a message privately?
People on the podcast can just, they can just click back and hear.
They can, and I will stick an ad right here every time you do.
You'll edit it out.
Yes.
It'll be bleeped.
Yes. Reality is what I choose it to be. Give us a synopsis, Ambassador.
Okay, so in my very biased recap of this episode, this is what the show should be.
Yes, it is! Sorry, carry on. I'm like 6 feet from Deneé. I guarantee everybody heard that 3 times, probably through Aaron's mic as well.
Oh
I was going to say, came through here too.
In this episode, we have the first merger. I always try to think like when you're trying to describe it to a friend later, what will stand out. And this is the Kirk handoff episode, the Kirk introduction episode more confidently than we've seen before. So we get to see like the TOS crew come together in Strange New Worlds and have it make sense with the Strange New Worlds crew in a 2-ship drama. 2 ships versus the bad guys. Or are they bad guys? How many people are on the planet? I remember it being a billion million, and Ian remembers it being in the double digits 10. We don't know because we didn't watch the episode again before doing the show. I could probably Google that. This is an action-packed episode of how the ships are going to get out of danger and what it means to be a leader. The end.
Commodore Dicer, what are your overall thoughts and feelings before we go into a scene-by-scene deep dive into the episode? Did you like it?
I am a conflicted man.
Okay, but what about the episode?
Aside from that, let's talk about the episode. I cannot tell you I liked this episode. I cannot tell you I disliked this episode. I need more time. But there are things that I loved about this episode. There are things that I hated about this episode. And I think because the things I loved about this episode are things I hate that I loved about this episode.
That's great.
I think that we're probably teetering more towards just finish this show.
Whatever.
And just, like this, like it clearly doesn't want to be the show I need it to be. So like it's,
That's so sad.
This show is basically how I felt about the last season of Picard. So this episode.
Oh, we're not. Okay, fair. I'm going to respect your position, but I don't think it's that far gone.
Is it because, well, the last season of Picard was about the fan service of it turning into like what the fans of TNG really wanted.
Well, you can end that after fan service.
Yes.
So it would feel very eliminating to anybody who just watched Picard on its own, season 1, season 2, and then season 3 just sort of undid itself for the fans and to give them quote unquote what they wanted.
Exactly.
So that's kind of what you're vibing?
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm vibing with this episode, which I love the original series, so I love some of that stuff, but I hate that I love some of that stuff. Anyways, probably the needle will start to droop once I start to think about why I enjoyed this episode.
Well, I look forward to that journey across the episode. Ambassador, your overall thoughts and feelings.
Well,
wait, didn't I just do yours?
No, I did the intro, which was biased.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I think my overall feelings, like just right after, was that I had a bunch of fun this episode. And I had like a lot of moments where I was like, oh, this is so cool. And there were some great battles and some really interesting things to look at. And the interesting like internal struggle of what happens when you're a leader. And what I want to see, which I understand why it would be a little difficult for some, but I want to see a little bit of like what's leading to Kirk. It doesn't need to turn into the Kirk show, but I really appreciated that they gave us something while they're doing Strange New Worlds, to give us something between Kirk and Pike that's canon, like their history, that we get to see some moments with them. I think if they didn't do that, I'd be really annoyed, because they have an opportunity to do something really unique and to give a little bit of like, oh yeah, well, everything changed for, Captain Kirk on this particular mission because of a decision that was made, and I kind of felt the weight of all of that. So I would much rather see an episode like this than the whodunit mystery on the holodeck. So I loved it.
Which is interesting because they are both very much paying homage in their own way to the original series. One as a riff on it, one as a prequel. So that's a really interesting comparison, and it is interesting that both those episodes are so close together. I think back in the day you're permitted to have one of those a season. So yeah, all at once it's quite a bit. Me personally, favorite episode of the season so far. Loved the snot out of this episode. Mainly, chief and foremost, for the adventure at its heart, like for the space adventure mystery story that happened. I want more of it. It is, by the grace of maybe I had a really good poop this morning and I'm in a great mood. The Kirk stuff should irritate me, but I loved it. It felt really organic for me. It felt like it had a purpose. Like this time, the purpose was to show how we get from Commander Kirk to Captain Kirk. And in a really in a little bit of a cheaty way, because we're getting to see him grow with a crew that we recognize him. Like, it's obviously no fluke that everybody on the Farragut are all characters in TOS. So this is very much a precursor to seeing that crew fully formed. It's Paul Wesley. Like, he is becoming my favorite Kirk. The way he toes that line between Shatner and the character of Kirk, because you can't separate Shatner from it, but he makes Kirk more relatable, more human to me.
Part of the emotion that I felt in this episode was when the TOS crew was on the dying ship, like the dead in the water ship, the beat up ship,
the Farragut,
and Pike was going through with La'an to kind of figure out the umbilical cord situation. I just had this revelation, like, oh my God, this is going to stop. Like, Pike is on a path to not being able, I mean, the show is ending, of course, but just, it was like a visual reminder that at some point the characters that I love on Strange New Worlds, which include the crew for the TOS show. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to get to see them anymore because there's going to be a handoff, and that bummed me out.
It's hard. I love this crew so much.
But I really loved seeing them with Kirk because it was just this reminder, but their story lives on. They get to go and kind of do something fun. But I also feel that desire, can we just get the crew all together on the ship and have a fun Strange New World show more than what we've seen so far? Because this is episode 6. And I still feel like we've only had one episode this season that just feels like this crew doing their thing,
Which was? Which episode?
This one, and then there was one. Was it the one last week where they kind of actually
the space adventure? Oh, the alien archaeology episode.
Yeah, where it kind of felt more like it
through
was
Lens of Time.
Our Strange New Worlds crew doing a cool mission on one episode instead of it being tied into other things. It felt like we just did that last episode. We've got it a little bit this episode, but it was almost more of an homage to what's coming. Mm-hmm. And they haven't even gone 2 episodes, just this crew doing this crew's show, which is what I loved in that first season so much.
Yeah. It's interesting how they can't help themselves. And we've been asking for this pretty much every single season. It's just be more Strange New Worlds, which for me means be more TNG, be more episodic, be a bit more forgetful about what happened last week. But this is, it's looking forward, backwards. But for me, this season, they're finding a better balance than they have so far. So let's dive into it. We start off with, what was your knee-jerk reaction, Aaron, when we open with Captain Kirk doing a captain's log and his exposition about how he's not happy about where he's at? Did you get a bit eye-rolly? Because I did, in spite of myself.
No, I was, I think it sets the tone for what the episode wants to do. What do you remember my feelings being on this Kirk, when we've talked about it in previous seasons?
I remember you liking him.
Okay. Deneé, what do you remember?
Nothing.
I may have invented that memory, hopefully.
No, I don't like him. I think he changes a core character trait of Kirk, which is his winkiness, his smarm, his
swagger?
His wry swagger smile. Even when he is proven wrong, even when he is has somebody teach him something, he still has a gleam and a wink in his eye. He's not not this character.
Is there a chance that comes with his age, whereas most people would grow into being sensible? Is there a chance that this character grows into being more arrogant and more
That's not usually how age works.
Not usually, but we still have Kirk.
Also, I think there's canonical examples of this smarmy cockiness through Jedi training and whatever else he went through at Jedi Academy. So
if you're trying to make a sincere point, great way to do it.
No, he did the the Kobayashi Maru thing or whatever.
The no-win scenario. I don't believe it.
Yeah, exactly.
Which he does in this episode, Aaron.
It's part of his character. It's part of who he is, and it's part of what makes him and Spock so good together. Is that Spock brings him? Spock gets a little of his smarm from him. By the way, we'll get there. One of my favorite moments is a little bit of smarm that he brings out of Spock at one point. It's my favorite moment in the entire series.
Yeah,
probably.
I love that line.
I died.
Yeah,
so good.
It's so good.
We should just say it right now.
No, tease it.
Oh,
tease that shit.
Okay.
We'll forget.
So I guess when I
it.
heard the the captain's log and him doing his Kirk, my response wasn't immediately any more negative than I feel like this Kirk is an empty Kirk. I don't connect to this Kirk for the same reasons I connected to both Chris Pine's and Shatner's. Have that smarmy spark to them that this character just doesn't have.
The character name is pronounced Spock, not Spark. But I'm gonna counterpoint a little bit because I think we do get some of that in this episode. I think overall I get what you mean, but he has this where I really picked up on it is when he's talking to Scotty about get it done, sir. Just warp 7, max warp me, doesn't matter.
But cockiness isn't the same as smarm. Like you can be a cocky, confident, do this, do that without having and in fact, that makes it worse to be that guy without a little bit of the charm and the likability and the
cover
smile.
It and hide your incompetence.
Yes, Ian. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like we know that guy. Like
that makes me more convinced that he chooses to adopt that as a command style. Like I must never be wrong, and if I'm ever 1% wrong, I'm going to cover it with smarm. And he hasn't learned. He hasn't learned
I mean,
that yet.
If you want to read it that way, that's fine. It just seems too much of a core character trait to have not been something that has been him for his life. You know what I mean?
That.
Like if
I wonder if that's an artifact of moving from the 60s as well, and how we are in a different time, and that style of leadership is very quickly patronizing and head patty and not desirable. So I wonder if we're trying to find some middle ground. But
I may have made this point the last time we talked about this. I think Pike is a better Kirk than Kirk is. I think Pike has more Kirk qualities in my mind than actually this Kirk does. In this episode, as we got into it, just made it worse. He is so hangdog in this episode so many times. And I'm like, that's just not Kirk. He's never that guy. He learns things, but he learns them with a smile and a wink.
I'm glad to hear your thoughts, because that's, one thing I don't really have that you guys do, which is a lot of TOS. I just have a few episodes of TOS under my belt. And so it's, I think, easier for me to kind of go, oh, this is the beginning of the Kirk that we know later. But I think your point, Aaron, is interesting, because you're kind of going at it like, well, the parts about Kirk seem like they would have been there all along. Like they wouldn't just be suddenly learned. It's like the cocky confidence of a very youthful person that it doesn't just like suddenly show up later. But we have to kind of like bend our imaginations a bit on that one, I think.
Yep.
Well, as we get back into the episode, Kirk gets exactly what he wishes as the fucking planet explodes in front of his eyeballs. And I'm just going to immediately gush about this scene and jump over the opening credits straight into the Enterprise arrival. Visually, throw all of the money at this show. Like, it looks so good. I loved that basically, when the planet explodes, this episode is non-stop from then onwards. Even the conversational elements clip by really well for me. But I there's something just new that I haven't seen done in an episode of Star Trek, or if I have, it's very rare. The planet explodes, the Farragut does what it needs to do, and when the Enterprise turns up, there's no like return from the credits, and then it's Pike going, Captain's log, we've received a distress call from the Farragut. Enterprise arrives, gets its shields on, spins, fires some phasers, blocks the debris. Like, that gave me absolute chills, because I was fully expecting to be on the Enterprise, but this is firmly from the Farragut's POV. So yeah, I absolutely love that opening. I don't have a question, but I invite you both to gush about how great that opening scene is.
I thought several times during this episode, this is the most beautiful Star Trek I've ever seen. Like, there's some shots of even the planet after it exploded, and I'm just like, and I don't know if that's just modern, like HDR, high def, kind of thing on our nice televisions, but man, I was just like, wow, that's gorgeous. Put that in a painting.
Yeah.
Right.
It was so beautiful. Yeah. I'm sure you're probably going to play our sounds that we had while we were watching it. We were both going, ah!
Oh my God, that's so cool. Pew, pew, pew. Let's go. Yeah, I love it. Any external shots. It was incredible.
I liked that we had to kind of assume what was happening on that bridge. We're not on that bridge, but warp in, pew pew some asteroids, move the ship to where it shows its belly to the enemy, making a bigger blockade, throwing up the shields. Like, imagine being on that ship.
Right.
But instead we're with Kirk. And that's kind of where I think some of the parts of this episode hit me like in a little bit of like, oh man, like I wanted to see that. Because I'm here for that character.
Yeah, of course.
But I know what the show is trying to do. It's giving us a really, deep backstory for Kirk, because the point is that had he got his way, everybody would be dead because he would have been on the surface.
Well, that was a fascinating point. Like, that was a subtle thing that I actually missed that he obviously brings up later in the episode that I loved, was that his acknowledgement that if that captain had done what he'd said, they'd all be dead, which was, I think it was an interesting thing to put in there, very, very deliberately. So we end up with, after beamings and the Enterprise getting nommed, which again was terrifying. I thought me and Deneé both thought the ship was going to get blown up, and this was like a time loop episode.
We did.
It gets nommed, and we end up with the exact TOS crew, almost minus Chekhov and Sulu, on board the Enterprise as the resident.
And Bones.
No, Bones is rarely on the bridge, and if he ever is, he shouldn't be. So I Photoshop him out of any scene when he's on the bridge, because damn it, Bones, get to sickbay. Stop being on the bridge. As the TOS representative that you are, Dyson, did you pick up on the deliberateness of that? Did you like that we essentially have our TOS crew on a de facto Enterprise doing an episode of TOS?
This is the crux of what I was trying to say at the beginning. My heart was full. I'm just like, cool, it's TOS, but also that's not the show I'm watching. That's not, listen, if you can't entertain people, nostalgia them. And that's unfortunately what so much entertainment does now. And that doesn't mean, look, here's the thing. This episode is probably better if it's not Kirk on this second ship. I think this is a better episode if it's a new crew we've never met before, and we see how our crew comes in. To make it all about Kirk and all about the buzz of the TOS crew being together, I think does a disservice to the episode as a whole by swimming in member berries instead of, letting us really swim in interesting thought experiments or, cool new civilizations or whatever. We're just stuck remembering,
I don't know if I agree with that. I was really drawn into it. I think if it was a different crew, I would be checking out a little bit because I don't care.
Not if they're well-written characters. This is what I'm saying. It's just like you don't give yourself a chance to do something excellent when you're resting on nostalgia.
The interesting point I want to bounce off there is that me and Aaron obviously both have, we know we're being nostalgic at. I've reacted really positive to it this time. Deneé, you aren't being nostalgic at because you don't have that nostalgia.
Yeah.
So I think you're a relatively good barometer for this. Essentially, is a new crew for you. Like this Kirk is new for you. So did you enjoy it?
I loved it
as an episode.
I loved it so much. Like there was part of it where I'm seeing Uhura like stand up for Kirk, and I'm seeing my Spock, my Christine, like my people on this new place. And there was just this like buzz that I got like, oh man, this is their start. This is the first time they get to actually do something together, and it's huge and it's crazy. And suddenly Scotty makes sense, and how they're just pushing back against Kirk, almost like they're all friends because he's not their captain. It's sort of this weird interim
You're not
moment.
my captain, Dad.
Yeah. So I liked it. And to me, it was like I said earlier, it felt like, oh, good. It's not ending for them. This is just the beginning. This is like that crazy thing we would have never seen the first time, technically, that they all, murdered 7,000 people. We got to see it.
Yeah, wow. Hey, remember that time we all met our first mission? We murdered 7,000 humans.
Listen, people bond over trauma. Like sometimes you get together for the first time and shit goes sideways and y'all just survive together, and it really, really bonds you. And this is one of those moments where they're kind of all in their situation. And sure, did the show make it happen that way? Yeah, there's a lot of things that happen to make it be, them, but it hit me differently. I think it's going to hit different people differently, but I loved it. So,
and I don't mention that to poo-poo your point, Aaron, because I agree with you, and I'm broken in my brain a bit because fundamentally I completely agree. This is Strange New Worlds. We have precious few episodes left. Please Strange New Worlds me. Guess what? I've seen a lot of TOS. I know how Kirk ends up there, and I know there wasn't probably this much thought put into his backstory. So, and there is a lot of nods to, one of his quotes is he's talking about risk and like the job is risk, and a famous Kirk line is risk is our business, mister, something along those lines. So we are absolutely being nostalgic at, but this time it worked. And I just think for me, they had a goal this time. And while if you ask me, would you prefer a Strange New Worlds episode that was slightly less exciting, but was all about Strange New Worlds and that crew, I would pick it over this, but I still like this better, which is just, it's so confusing to me because this is an episode in the wrong show. This is like a pilot for TOS, which I know Strange New Worlds kind of is, but it isn't. But that's where I have this cognitive dissonance as well, but I just cannot get past how much fun I had with this as an adventure.
Well, could it come down to that when you strip away the nostalgia, you still see a good episode, and when I strip away the nostalgia, I don't see a great episode?
I think
so.
That's
like,
it. Yeah.
I think the more we get into the actual details of the episode, because I'm really curious to hear like what was interesting about this to you guys. What thoughts did it make you have? What beyond the pew pew? Oh, this is cool. Look at the ship do the ship thing, which I know is a big part of any sci-fi. Like I get it. It's not my favorite part of sci-fi. My favorite part of sci-fi is what is it teaching us? What is it telling us? How do these characters who I know and love get to do this new adventure together and figure out this, thing together. So as we get more into that, I think we'll be able to more see why you enjoyed it so much and why maybe I'm more conflicted.
Or then we just find out I really just like the pew pew flashy stuff and I had nothing deeper to say.
And that's okay. Genuinely, not even dismissively, it's genuinely okay if that's number one on your priority list. Like that is an exciting, entertaining reason to enjoy content, is to see, incredible ships, doing incredible things and planets blowing up. And it's great. That's fine.
Can we, before you go on to the next thing, Ian, like you had mentioned that you were going to be really frustrated during this episode. Because,
okay.
And we really haven't gone there
yet.
We
haven't.
And I was going to try to do it before we jumped in, but I'm just so excited to talk about this episode. But I do want to get to talking about like the meat and potatoes of the plot of the episode today.
Yes.
Too. And so you're already kind of going scene by scene, and I'm happy to go on the scene by scene journey. But when is that going to come up? Because that's just gnawing at me.
We can do it now because it happens during an external shot of the Enterprise while the Enterprise is inside the scavenger ship. Aaron, did you know about this? Did you spot it? Have you read any articles about the thing that appears?
I don't know.
I
don't know what you're talking about. Sorry, I completely missed whatever you're talking about.
So you will not see this unless you're going frame by frame. I had to read it in a few different articles.
So this was during when Pike's Enterprise pops in to save...
No, so when Pike's Enterprise is inside the scavenger ship and is wrapped up by tentacles and whatnot, there is a TARDIS that appears above the nacelle, an actual Doctor Who TARDIS.
The police box?
A police box. Confirmed by multiple sources, a police box is spinning around, as in it's either popped in to say hello, the scavenger ship has caught the Doctor's TARDIS at some point. That
officially puts me in the negative for this episode.
That's what I was working against. And I'm going to, before I even throw it out to the crowd, it's not because I'm a dirty, stinking party pooper and I don't want my toys to play with each other. If this meant something, if this was a deliberate teaser for we're going to find a one-off episode to cross over and do something fun, bring it on. Let me have it. This means nothing. If this is an Easter egg just for the sake of, look, there's a Millennium Falcon in the background. Look, there's a TARDIS in the background. I hate it. Stop it. I don't need it.
Because Paramount doesn't own Doctor Who.
It can't. I'm amazed that they own the rights to a telephone box because I'm pretty sure the Queen owns that. But this means nothing. And it's like, cool, you like Doctor Who. Great. It's frustrating for me as somebody who loves Doctor Who, and I know there have been comics where they cross over, and it's fun to imagine these things crossing over, but don't do that. Unless it's somehow picked up a rogue telephone box that isn't the Doctor's from Earth in the future past. It's just... But that's what I had to get past.
It's a little different, in the chat, and rightfully so, we're mentioning the ETs that are at the Senate. In Star Wars, there's the ET creatures that are in one of the Senate pods, in there. This is a little bit different because you can look at that and just go, oh, okay, ET's race is now canon in, the Star Wars universe. Yeah. That's fine. It's a big universe, whatever. And it's obvious. This is totally different because it means the Doctor was here. That's a big deal.
Big stinking deal.
It's not just Doctor Who is canonically now a part of the Star Trek universe. It's not a simple thing. If it's there at that event, it makes much less or it's much more important than the fact that the ET race, not ET himself even, has a Senate group that's with them in the Senate. So there is a little bit of difference there. In both cases, you're playing the same chords. You're trying to go wink, wink, nudge, nudge. This is, in the Under the Sea song, the fact that Goofy is, bowing, down to or whatever is in the crowd that's celebrating. It's that kind of like Easter egg that just doesn't. It just makes things more jumbled. It doesn't make them more interesting.
In my brain. And you can say, "Hey, chill out." But I'm not gonna. I can't help that at a gut level this really bugs me. I don't know that you probably have a strong feeling about this, Deneé, but that was the thing that I had to put out of my brain. And I still love this episode, but that puts a stink on it for me a little bit.
I don't know that I care super strongly one way or the other, but the fact that it's distracting away from what this show should be on its own makes me upset.
Yeah.
I don't think I understand the colossal side effect of two massive things, like two massive sci-fi shows smashing together in this moment, or what it indicates for Doctor Who having been there or whatever. But
especially since they mentioned Star Trek in Doctor Who. I'm trying to multiple Doctor Who episodes.
Fair, yeah.
They do?
Yeah.
Yeah, as a piece of content, as a piece of
as a TV show.
IP.
Okay, but so then is it like Star Trek giving like a little nod, like a little back over to them?
Yes.
If the crew of the Enterprise was watching an episode of Doctor Who, completely different. That would be a nod back. But the fact that you're sneaking the TARDIS into the geographical space is a different animal.
Yeah.
Okay, because Star Trek doing this means that it's like acknowledging that Doctor Who is a reality.
Yes, in Star Trek's reality.
And Doctor Who was acknowledging as a show, not a reality.
Correct. But the problem is, and this is 100% Doctor Who's fault, in the most recent season, the Doctor says, we haven't been there yet. As in, we haven't visited, like, Star Trek is fun. We haven't got, so he's saying he could take them into Star Trek world.
And so he did, and he was eaten by that machine? So basically Star Trek just said, fuck you.
Maybe. Yeah, basically. Yeah, it's not going to happen. Yeah.
It didn't put him in like a cool nebula.
We missed that episode. It's already
put him into ship.
We're talking about it more than I ever wanted to, but I did it because I built it up so much.
Well, to me, it is another indication of the show relying on gimmick rather than its own creative confidence. So
I don't know. When you have two juggernauts that are trying to kind of pay homage to each other, it's sort of like watching a secret handshake between two incredibly famous people, and like you're the only one that caught the handshake, and it's like, whoa, I just saw these two major, like that's pretty cool. Like I saw something.
But in this
really
case, it's kind of like Ian McKellen meeting Gandalf and shaking his hand.
I think
it breaks my brain a bit. I think Gandalf knowing who Ian McKellen is.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way I can sum up why I don't
frames.
Like it.
It's easy enough to dismiss.
It really is.
Whatever.
I think it's because I want it to mean more.
The distraction bothers me because it's taking away from talking about the show.
Yes.
But I kind of think if I have to land on one side or the other, that I would be like, it's fine.
Yeah, and I want to be there. I do. And that's where I will say it's fine and then move on. So we quickly get into Kirk is now in charge of the Farragut, forcibly into the chair that he now so hesitantly stares at. And we get into a bit of like a problem-solving thing. And when you ask Aaron what I like, this right here, this is lifted straight out of TOS, TNG, the problem-solving, getting around the problem. But this felt like this is where he felt most Kirk to me. Before the storm out, it was the gathering of the minds, getting a plan together. You're going to do this, you're going to do this. And the exchange with Scotty while Scotty's in the guts of the ship. The interesting thing is that if this conversation happens in TOS, Scotty pulls it off and it's fine. And whatever. Like, this is really no different to what Kirk demands of Scotty in the future. So I loved it. And that felt more homage-y than nostalgia-y to me. But did that situation, is that one of the things that hit you as, oh, they're just trying to be TOS?
No, I didn't mind that at all. What, in your words, what was the plan? What made that plan interesting to you?
It's not the plan in and of itself until we get to later on. The actual plan that works. The actual plan that works for me.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, what it was for you was here's the people that that I know and love watching them problem solve, and now they're problem solving.
Yes. And
See,
when it's
for me, it's
technobabble,
the actual problem being solved that's interesting. It's not the the fact that they're doing problem solving.
Well, there's an element of that comes later for me when they do actually come up with an ingenious thing that works. But this was the beginnings for me of really just digging what the standalone episodes do, which is them coming together, talking out the problem. And his plan, is to let's get ahead of the scavenger ship and do some things. But it's interesting that there was some Kirkness missing from Kirk for you during these bits. Is that right?
Well, I mean, I think that's the intent of the show is that Kirk is not quite Kirk when he's doing. The intent of the show is that he's not doing this right at the beginning, and that he needs some downtime to figure out what it means to lead, what it means to have a cooperative, idea. One of the things about Pike's character that I've really loved is right from the beginning, he was a person who understood the value of that the answer can come from any single person, right?
Yes.
That any single person doesn't have to come from me. Let's brainstorm it, whatever. What Kirk, I think, is supposed to be learning in this episode is a little bit more of that. And I think in the first part, he's not doing that. He's just saying, this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. So I think the show itself is saying this isn't quite the Kirk we know.
Yeah, he's not there yet. And Spock, in some ways, maybe helps him get there and other mentors. But this is a big wake-up call that sets him on that path. Yes. How about you, Ambassador? Because this also has like TNG vibes for me when they get into the problem solving. So when you see this crew on the Farragut getting together and problem solving, is that where your second screening, or are you still gripped on the adventure there?
No. Well, I mean, so TNG was not about problem solving for me. It was about characters. I like the characters, the relationships. That was really what drove me when I watched that show. The problem solving part, or like their rank and order, or how they approach those things, I didn't really start to enjoy until watching Star Trek with you. and then
it's infectious. I'm sorry.
Well, then it was like, oh, I'm a maybe you were just more mature than I was. I don't know, but I'm more like, wow, this is how it should be when you have such responsibility of a starship. So watching them kind of push back and forth and then try to solve problems and watch Kirk struggle. And even watch them talk about like, when do we take over here? Like all that stuff made sense to me. It didn't feel like it was happening too fast because they had such a problem to solve.
Yeah, they had a time pressure. That kind of motivates you.
They're on a ship that's sort of limping along and things like that. It also felt comfortable to me because it seemed like they were all in character still as well. Like Scotty is doing the Scotty stuff, and everyone just kind of like jumped in. It was very serious. But my favorite character, of course, was Spock. Like he there's something really powerful when you watch a character and an actor when they begin to kind of present their lines in a moment and everything just kind of like it feels better. It feels more. I was much more confident when Spock was speaking than anybody else.
It's whenever Data shows up, I'm like, or Picard as well. When Picard shows up, I'm immediately at ease in a scene because I know it's make believe, but I know they're also going to be okay because the competent leader is in charge.
Yeah, and I thought it was really interesting to watch how they navigated the emotional soup of Kirk having to like wrestle with technically being in command. And they each sort of had their own comfortability with talking to him like a peer, but then a captain. And to me, all of that, worked really well.
So that brings us into the next element, which is his plan done fucked up. He blew up the nacelles. He's pushed the ship too hard. And he has a bit of a meltdown. Did you like that made me feel super uncomfortable. Did you connect to that? Deneé and Spock following up and the near mutiny that happened as well? Yeah,
and I loved it. I have had, as the two of you know, more than anybody on this planet, I have been in a leadership role or a moment when I'm supposed to know what's going on. Something blows up I lash out, walk away, need everyone to shut the fuck up for a second.
I don't need other voices in my brain. I need nothing from you people other than solitude.
I come back to the table and I'm like, hey, sorry about that. I'll work on it. Let's figure this out. Like, I understand that feeling of pressure. And I think watching that happen is really, really cool. Like, if they had make Kirk be like the best captain ever, straight out of the bat, I'd be fucking pissed now.
Oh, absolutely. I was already writing the note. Well, that plan worked far too quick. So I could not have been happier when the nacelles, not the nacelles, the plasma relays blew up.
I thought that they were indicating that it wasn't going to go well pretty strongly. Like it went well for a second. So, It kind of like it fed his ego, but you could feel something buy drinks was going to go wrong. Yeah.
Once we rescued the people you care about.
Yeah, I didn't mind that too much. What about you, Aaron?
Yeah, and I'm not trying to bait you either, Aaron, but maybe I am. But the
feel free.
Kirk falling
You're a master at it.
The Kirk falling to bits element. Does that not feel like a good origin or like just a window into a more raw Kirk that isn't finished yet and isn't the Kirk we know?
If it all feels too sudden to me. It all happens very quickly. He goes from cocky to just absolute, shambles, and then back to confident again, very, very fast. And
I understand that though, personally.
No.
I just
Sure.
Yep.
Sure.
Yep.
But that's never been part of his character through what I've known of Kirk. So
what you're saying is that's normal for me, but
there are different styles of leadership. That's all I'm saying.
It feels very Riker. Actually, I think Paul Wesley is more Riker than he is Kirk.
Yes.
Interesting. I can see that, I think.
I think there's a better version of this, in my opinion, where what we're learning about Kirk's backstory is how he needs Spock. And I think the episode hints at it a little bit, but it doesn't really give us the meat and potatoes of why, because it's so interested in testing Kirk's confidence that it doesn't show the need for Kirk's confidants, if you will. So there is that part of it that I think if it had more focused on what is it that Spock adds to his equation that he was missing before Spock came into his life, because so much of TOS is about that relationship. In my opinion, it really is about how Kirk and Spock are the perfect team together and how well they fill each other's holes. So
that is out there. Yeah.
If you target that a little better, I think it's better for me. As it is, it just feels like they just knocked him down so they could build him back up, and it just happens really fast.
But
I get what they were doing.
Yeah.
I almost feel like they hit that too explicitly, because the balance that Spock brings is Kirk is like, my gut says this, Spock says my logic says this, and that's the great balance that they have. And when they're deciding who should go and talk to Kirk, Spock is like, well, as the one with the least amount of emotions, I guess I should do it. So for me, I feel like they knew exactly what they were doing. Like, I think they did that. Maybe the metaphor wasn't the best way to go about it. Like, he didn't really tap into his logic. He really was just, forgive the Vulcan pun, a pair of ears to whatever Kirk was feeling.
Exactly. He was a therapist.
He didn't contribute himself. Yes, I see what you mean.
He was a therapist. He wasn't a sharpening stone. And there is a little bit of a difference there. I do think in that scene where they are talking, there are bits and pieces that are sparks of what I wanted. It just feels more like it's about Kirk's sudden journey into doubting himself and not really about how Spock plays into that.
I don't know. Yeah, I see what you're saying. One of the things I picked up on was that Spock, like, he knows that the logical thing to do is to get the captain to be able to do his job and to do it quickly.
Quick.
So
quick, please.
I think he's going to go in and he's going to engage and move that forward. So it worked for me.
Sure.
Like, and I hope that it evoked the nostalgia that I remember seeing when, like, the few episodes of TOS where Spock and Kirk are always like talking together about, kind of what's going on. And here it's happening for the first time. So for me, it worked. And my prediction was totally right, by the way, in that moment when they were talking privately, because I was working out why this episode would be called what it is. And I was like, I bet it's a Vulcan proverb. And it was.
Yeah, it is.
Because there was no way they were going to spend this entire episode like revisiting what that dog means to Spock after.
Well, you weren't here for it, Aaron, but the Sehlat is also a pet that Spock had as a child, and it's an episode of the animated series where his pet sacrifices itself to save young Spock in a timey-wimey thing. So I was like, are we really going to like reenact an episode of the original series? Because that's Stranger Things has done weirder things, like include a fucking TARDIS. But no, it is about the Vulcan metaphor. By
the way, since we're here, those two metaphors mean completely different things.
Completely different things.
Completely different things. The dog who catches the bus is about not knowing how to handle the goal you just achieved, right? The dog that catches its tail is about understanding that you're only harming yourself sometimes when you're running around in circles. Like, so it's just interesting.
You don't know the full. You don't know. Yes, you don't know the full proverb. You don't know where that story goes, Aaron. It could have been a goal to eat your own tail.
Sure. Yes.
Yeah. Now that you've done it, you don't know what to do with it. That's amazing. You mentioning your predictions is a fantastic segue into the Enterprise portion of this adventure, because this wasn't in the prediction section at all. In our, I'm going to say it, hilarious preamble that we did at the top of the show, Ambassador, you took control of the ship.
I did.
And Aaron, I'm glad you weren't witness to this because I
wanted you there.
I get to describe this. Ambassador, her way of taking control of the ship, taking the reins as it were, was to install literal reins to some holographic reindeer that would be at the front of the ship, and her reins would actually control the direction of the ship. Now the way this works is that Ortegas would be spun around and inputting the directions while the Ambassador is communicating what she wants to do through the wires of the reins, and then Ortegas was piloting the ship. So as we get to how they're actually piloting the ship, I was like, that of all of the random preambles we could have possibly done, you accidentally predict the episode.
Yeah, this is where this episode falls the fuck apart for me, though.
This is what I loved. This is amazing. This is good shit, in my opinion. Go on, Ambassador. Yeah. Take it away. We have Pike and
I'll just say on a sin level, this section is ripe for the plucking.
Yeah,
it
completely
is.
agree. Yeah. However, we do have Pike and Ortegas on a red shirt running through the ship, chasing after some invaders, while the rest of the crew jerry-rig wires together to make communication possible. Tell me why you hate fun, Ambassador, and why you didn't like this bit of the episode.
No, it genuinely was just like, when you're talking about how it's piloted,
just too much.
I like what was happening. Like overall, I'm enjoying. We're going from ship to ship. We're seeing what everybody's doing. I'm really enjoying it. And breaking down these moments, I could like literally just talk about this for hours. I really, really enjoyed the episode. But it all being wired together with phones and phone wire is so much bullshit.
It's what we do now.
So
it's
much
how we
bullshit.
Communicate.
It is so much bullshit.
Landlines are a
okay,
thing.
Listen, hold on. Let me talk here for a second. Number one, I loved seeing Pelia's quarters. It just popped up in the chat. I totally
100%.
agree with you. Because when we first see Pelia, she's in this like antique warehouse just dream, I think. Yes. Isn't that right? Didn't we find her there?
Great memory. No, sorry. That's in the time travel episode. So when La'an goes back to the 2090s or 1990, something like that, she bumps into Pelia, and Pelia has a museum.
She has like a whole collection.
Yeah, she has a thrift store essentially.
Yes. So I remember looking at that going, ooh, I relate because I like to collect things. And if I could like live in an antique store, I probably would because I just love collecting old things.
If you could live for 5,000 years, then
I would have that.
That would be you, yeah.
Yes. Is it Pelia or Pella?
Pelia.
Pelaya.
I think it's Leia, like Princess Leia.
He's the worst best friend you can have.
Well, anyway, I loved it. It like made the character really rich for me. It was kind of like, let's just pretend that there was a show and we went to like Worf's quarters and it was just like a regular Starfleet quarters and it didn't have the Worf vibe. I'd be like, oh, a bummer that they didn't get that right. But they really, really nailed it. It had a whole bunch of collector stuff. I totally believe that's possible. I totally believe it's possible that she would also have a few old phones because those are kind of fun, right? Like that's, I totally believe that. I do.
Before I moved to America,
how the fuck did they have that much cord?
Oh, you can just make that much cord. Are you kidding? What do you think is
inside
in the Enterprise?
The ship?
Yes, you just get it. All of the access panels open up. My issue is the time, not that it's impossible, because guess what? We run wires across countries, Aaron. I don't know if you know this, but
why
landlines...
Why would Pelia have that much in her little luggage carrier?
They needed them as well. The time it took was my question. Like they got connected very quickly, but they must have just like reams of wire to repair stuff on the ship. It just has to be conductive. It just has to conduct an electrical, however phones work. It just has to conduct however phones work, and it's. But one of my issues is having taken the time to mount the bloody thing. Una's was mounted to the bulkhead like an actual like telephone kitchen telephone that you'd see.
And why did it have a dial tone?
Why wouldn't it? The computer. The computer,
like, the computer
give me a dial tone. Yeah.
Oh my God. While the ship is about to be absorbed by, which by the way, we didn't talk about how crazy that ship looked, the bad ship, the Nom Nom ship.
Oh, the Nom Nom ship is
We have not talked about that. But anyway, while the ship is in danger of being nom-nommed by the larger ship, it's going to go ahead and just give you a dial tone because it has the time to process that as it's dying, 100%. As the umbilical cord is sucking life out of it. It's like, you know what? Even though I have no energy whatsoever, I'm going to go ahead and pulse a dial tone. That's so stupid.
I will defend the ridiculousness. It is not the most ridiculous thing that we've seen them talk about. And my argument is, I think, rather have this that has a stretch of logic to it than reconvert the bipolaroid magnetizer that Scotty just invented out of his back pocket. Because I agree with that. You can gibberish any words that you want, but having a bit of fun with it. I mean, to be honest, there's a receiver in the TARDIS. So they probably just picked one out of the phone box.
Oh my God.
I'm sure he's got loads of cord in there that we just didn't see off screen.
I would have been so much better if there were just like wires running down the hallway, like just loose like clumps of
incredible. Yeah.
I would have loved that. But just the fact that it was like, oh, it's already built in this ship.
It's
I'll
super
plug
tiny.
in here. You plug in there, we'll be good to go.
I didn't know. I couldn't tell if it was in the ship already or not because it did look like the wire that they plugged in looked, what is it called, jerry-rigged or whatever. Like
but they tidied it behind the bulkhead. So there was a little bit external, but the rest of it, they'd managed to get into the bulkhead through the panel.
Of all the times to think like, let's make this look aesthetic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This TV I'm installing will save our lives, but please, can we run the cords through the wall? Like, just take the time to do that. I mean, I know a little bit time sensitive, but you know.
This is the Enterprise, not IKEA. Come on, we need to do this properly.
And then it turns into a two-way, like receiver situation back at base where Pelia is doing the switchboard operation kind of vibe or whatever.
Operator.
That was, listen, is it fun? Yes. Do I like seeing this incredibly futuristic world that is using a phone that I grew up with? Of fucking course I do.
It had to be a pink phone as well.
It was so silly and I enjoyed it. Like, but it was still incredibly sinful.
I have two more observations in that moment. Holy shit, how big are Pelia's quarters? Like, what? There's this gag that the crew...
Personal question.
The crew quarters on the Enterprise are tiny. Like, even Scotty mentions this when he's on the Enterprise D, and he's like, you've given me a mansion, what's going on here? And that is half the size of Pelia's quarters that are just... She must have some dimensional shift thing in there where she gets to put all of her stuff. My other observation is... We also talked about Riker using a manual steering column.
Yes, we did.
In the top of the show. Something that's only been seen in Star Trek twice.
I'm glad you brought this up again because this is the other thing I didn't like. Why are we having the left thing over here and the right thing over here if you can't fucking take control of your ship? Why would you need to be able to communicate between multiple people in multiple places to move your fucking ship? It's a fucking ship. They put it all in one spot. Let's fucking survive.
But you haven't got that many cables. You would have then had to run all of the cables from the port side to the starboard side so that Ortegas could control, and then back to the bridge so that Ortegas could control it. So I think for the story, Deneé, you had to have them on separate sides. But I do love the manual steering columns. I think they were from the Atari.
Yeah.
I think they literally steered the Enterprise with an Atari controller.
It was definitely silliness.
So Aaron, that to your point, that did bring me joy. Like that troubleshooting and that ridiculousness. Maybe I'm just getting soppy in my old age. I had great joy from that.
Yeah, youngins like me expect more.
It's absolutely fair. It's absolutely fair. We will transition to.
No, can we talk about this ship, the bad ship, for just a second?
Well, actually, that's what I was going to transition to. Is this the core, quote unquote, of the episode, which is the scavenger ship. First of all, who loved the design? Hands up. Okay, Aaron.
I don't even notice. You know this. I don't even notice the design of the ship.
It had a face on the front of it.
Did it?
Yeah,
I
it
didn't
had a face
notice.
with teeth, and it chomp, chomp, chomp.
It chomped people.
I don't care what ship's like. I know that makes me weird. Like they all look the same to me.
I thought it was great. Didn't tell me how awesome it was?
Yeah, it felt very much like a pirate ship, didn't it?
Yes, 100%.
Just this big bulbous mass that's like somehow this amalgamation of technology. Getting to who was inside it is probably something we should talk about at some point. I don't know if it's now. I don't know if it's later. But it was a really unique idea that they have almost like kept adding more and more and more and more and more to one single middle ship.
Yes, exactly.
So that as they encounter technology or resources, they can absorb it into themselves to survive in space for as long as they've been surviving in space. So it's like this very insulated world where they're not like taking on new crew members, they're killing everyone, but they're taking on the technology and the resources to survive. And then it turns into something like, why did they choose to have an evil face? Why are they choosing these sorts of things? I recently watched Fantastic Four with you guys. And so it kind of felt a bit like that bad guy. I had spoilers for the
Galactus.
Sorry.
Yeah, there's a very much eater of planets kind of
and
vibe.
it even called it Destroyer of Worlds.
Yeah.
So a bit of a spoiler, but it was very techie, a bad guy in Fantastic Four that sort of like had all this tech around them. And so it really felt similar.
No,
it's also the same plot of Ice Cube's War of the Worlds, if that helps out at all.
Yes, I'm sure that'll be extremely helpful. Oh no. I love that ship. I thought it gave me the Firefly Reapers. Is it Reapers? Ravengers.
Yeah, Scavenger Reavers.
Reapers.
Reavers. There we go.
Reavers from
the Reavers from Serenity, Firefly.
Yeah.
It gave me that vibe, very cobbled together. We will jump to who they are. We find out in a absolute garble of exposition at the end of the episode that these mystery people are humans from the 2050s. We know that First Contact is 2060 something. So these guys are from the 2040s, 2050s. And they have gone off into deep space. They're assuming the best of humanity. I would argue they probably were not. And they've gone off, disappeared, and over the following 200 years have gathered ships, technology, lost whatever it is to make themselves human, and basically where Voyager should have ended up, how Janeway's crew should have ended up had their journey continued. I love that as a core idea to explore. I'm going to immediately side with Aaron and say, why didn't you tell us that earlier and give us more of it? Because it's fucking interesting.
Thank you.
Aaron, continue.
Sorry, I woke the dog.
Oh, the dog. You
the
woke
dog
the Kraken.
agrees.
I do, before you kick off, Aaron, I do want to say that it was quoted as in mid-21st century before First Contact. So it's more of a general time frame.
Yeah, I'm just giving some extra nerd knowledge that it's probably 2050.
It would have to be in the 2040s, 2050s, somewhere in that range. Yeah.
Go for it, Aaron, because I can feel, and I'm feeling the same as you with this.
No. This is part of my thing. Is there are so many interesting avenues to explore with this idea, and the show decides not to explore any of them. The show decides to go, guess what? They're human. Dun, dun, dun.
Roll credits. Yes.
Yeah.
And it's like, do you understand how many things you could have done? Like the idea, first of all, the idea that it matters that they're humans is something worth exploring.
Yes.
They kind of do that a little bit.
Barely, yeah.
Just a little.
If so, I don't remember like it being thought provoking enough what they were saying for me to dive into.
Kirk's speech at the end when he was like, he was alarmed that it didn't matter in the moment. He says, I didn't care to know about my enemy. Why does it matter that they're human? So that was part of kind of the end.
That can be applied to anything. That's that's not the interesting thing about why these people are humans and how they ended up the way they ended up.
But there's no back and forth. There's no point A, point B. There's no, what would you do in this situation? What if this was you? How would you feel about it? Like there's we can infer a lot of that because we're humans and we're able to do that. I also think it's interesting in a show. I wasn't here for this, by the way. But when M'Benga tells Pike that he did kill the guy or whatever.
Oh yes,
and it's just like, yeah, cool. It's like in a show that has showed it doesn't care about this stuff. Like, why does it matter? And it just seems the episode seems uninterested in exploring any of the topical boxes that it's opened up.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I think they're wrestling with it. I mean,
where's the wrestling? Yeah, I don't remember the wrestling. Where are they wrestling with it?
I guess if they had some kind of a scene where they unpacked it more, maybe that would be more technically wrestling with it. Because I guess what I'm remembering is just the natural kind of dialogue instead of it being a point.
They're not asking any questions. They're giving us the answers at the end about our historical databases have said this, and this. These are the assumptions that we're making. And then Kirk has a little bit of I wish I hadn't killed 7,000 people.
Yeah.
I feel like in TOS and TNG, we find out that there are 7,000 humans on that ship that are destroying countless worlds. The moral dilemma is, do we have a right to kill 7,000 humans for the sake of the greater good of the galaxy? And it would be, there's no other option here. We either have to kill them or we let them continue doing their thing.
Yeah.
That's the philosophical thing.
There would have been an attempt to reach out to them and have some kind of communication, but the show made it very clear there was no option to do that. They couldn't penetrate the hull. They couldn't communicate. There was no chance of them to do something except for maybe like project some sort of whiteboard in the sky and says, want to be friends?
We have line of sight.
There are just all these boxes that it's ticking that are just lazy boxes. They hide things because you know what works? A big twist at the end. That's not a creatively confident thing to do. That's a hit him with the big twist because that always gets them.
That's a
and so you
pleaser.
hide things that you don't have to hide, and you also like identifying that the ship has a U.S. flag on it or a world, an Earth flag on it or whatever. Like identifying the ship of the enemy, and I know there are things in the episode and reasons it gives that it can't happen, but it's kind of step zero. Like when you engage, it's like, what do we know about these people? What does the ship say? Does it have any markings? Does it, all of this stuff? And for this episode, in order to get us to the whammy at the end, it just like hides all that under the bushel, So
no, you're right. It's much more about that whammy. And for me with Star Trek, the whammy is more interesting when it's the debate up front.
Correct.
Somebody in the live chat just mentioned, and this would have been kind of interesting, if they find this out before Kirk fires the torpedoes, then in a fraction of a second, he's got to be like, shit, 7,000 humans versus the Enterprise being destroyed. Then he's, even in that few seconds, he has a command decision to make. And instead of this being this passive thing where they're now just relegated to a lesson Kirk learned once upon a time, it really is a command lesson that he's had to think about where, okay, I made that choice for these reasons. But it's very passive finding out after the fact. So yeah, I think that's the crux of my issue with it.
There is one hint in the episode, and I think somebody, did bring it up. They don't shoot back and they ask, why didn't they shoot at us? Yeah. And I think we're supposed to look back at that and go, oh, it was because they saw that you looked human or whatever.
Yeah,
and then,
they
of
saw
course,
Pike as a human. Yeah.
80% of the aliens in Star Trek look human, so I don't know that there's much
right,
of
they've
the
met people that look
sometimes,
human before. Yeah.
We're left to assume, you're left to assume that they were hesitating because they had empathy, but we're also led to believe that they either take everybody on board their ship and make them part of their crew, or they kill everybody.
They wink at these things that are worth discussing. They never discuss them. The other thing that they wink at is this idea of how did they get that way? Ian, you said earlier, like I'm guessing it wasn't the best if this happened. Well, I think there's something really interesting in saying it was the best of us, and yet we still became this.
Yes.
Why is that? What is it about humanity that, takes trauma and turns it into pain for others?
Yes.
We don't know that they were going to destroy that ship with people, or the planet with people on it. That was an assumption that was made, that they went to the planet that had no one on it and the bad guys, quote unquote bad guys, they destroy that planet for their fuel. Then they capture a ship, but they don't say that anybody was going to die. I mean, certainly the actions that they're taking mean they're going to die. And they say, oh, all the air is out, so none of the Klingons could have survived. But we don't know if the Klingons are on that ship until the very end when it's only humans on the ship. So, yeah, we're doing a lot of the heavy lifting here, but we don't know for sure that they were going to go to that inhabited planet and kill them, everyone, for it. And we don't know what happened with the Klingons, but it seems like they're the big bully on the block. They have the technology. They have an ability to survive. They're not interested in communication. They're just going to do their shit and leave, whether you like it or not. And Pike decides to shoot to kill, and Kirk decides to shoot to kill. And then they both have to deal with ramifications of that, but we don't get to see that struggle. And I think that's what your point was, Aaron, is where was the back and forth? Where was the moment when that was really on screen? And it's not. It's in this podcast.
Yeah, whatever the case is, the show didn't explore it. And it's interesting, whichever way you talk about it, it's an interesting thing to debate and to explore and get their perspective. We don't get to hear one word from them because we can't, because they have to be precious about, like you said, Aaron, the whammy twist at the end. So we can't have any interaction at all. So yeah, that is the biggest letdown of the episode for me, and it is, like I said at the top of the show, by the grace of me enjoying the Kirk stuff, I almost wish that this concept had been saved for a different episode that wasn't using it just to bolster Kirk's origin story, is where I initially land. So I'm going to enjoy it, but I think there are two stories here that I could have enjoyed even more separately. Which is tricky. I've done things a little bit backwards, but I do like the final decision of the sour the milk cliche, which is something Star Trek has done multiple times, which is to make something very distasteful for the thing that's eating the ship. They attract it with the metal and then vent the baryon particles to get spat out by the thing. So anyway, I really enjoy the climax, the Farragut coming in. That's the stuff that I know appeals less to you, Aaron, as Deneé just walked away. I was going to ask her a question. Incredible timing. I know that...
Just wanted some more coffee.
I know that stuff means less to you, Aaron, but did you like that finale?
Coffee, yes, means much less to me.
Yes, Deneé of the Farragut and the Enterprise escaping and the techie nonsense that got them out of it with the baryon particles and whatnot.
I love it.
I love that. It's the icing on the cake for me.
Here's what I thought that they did well. They would do things like the umbilical cord. We're going to put acid reflux in there.
Yes, exactly.
So they give you... This episode seemed to give me more like general terms I understand and then start going into some jargon. And I really appreciated that this time. I don't know if they usually do that and I've just been missing it. But
it's hit and miss.
I was enjoying that. And watching the nacelles pop off was pretty fucking
Love
cool.
it. Love the nacelle. Didn't know they could do that. I'm going to have to get a Farragut model and modify it appropriately so that the nacelles can pop off.
Let's just be honest. If you make it, it will pop off because...
Hey now.
Derper prize.
Whoa, guys.
Wow.
Take a moment for the Derper
Things
prize.
have been getting personal of late.
Yes, we all know Ian pops off when he makes his models, but that's not something we need to talk about.
I did say that dumping my nacelles should be how I describe going to the toilet now. It's going to go dump some nacelles. We have the final conversation. Aaron, did you like the final conversation between Pike and Kirk? The little mentor-mentee situation, giving some wisdom. Why are you shaking your head, you madman?
I just didn't like it. Again, if it wasn't Kirk, I probably have a completely different feeling about it, but it just...
So you think he came out of the womb confident?
I think he came out of, flight school confident. I think he came out of, his training confident. I think he went into it confident. I think he probably, got confident during high school or whatever when he, everything
when
he did went right.
In high school.
When he got his Bolians licked.
I think he came out of the womb smarmy. Yes. I do think that's a core character trait that people have. Like, that's just, but yeah. Anyways.
Ambassador, did you like that final scene with Pike and Kirk? Thoughts upon it?
Yeah, I think that is the show's attempt to kind of give weight to what they were getting at that was not more screen time, What I am glad to have this episode. I'm glad to have a moment between Pike and Kirk. Like I mentioned at the very beginning, I really want there to be a little bit of that in Strange New Worlds because of what's coming next and kind of the magnitude of having these younger characters on screen before TOS. And so I love to see this sort of crossover world. I definitely don't mind it. I definitely don't mind kind of the moment from captain to captain where like Kirk is going to have to go back and talk to, April about what he's got to chat about. And there's just like a peek behind the curtain of what happens in the upper, when you're in charge, when you have to kind of take the mantle. And Pike has his own things to wrestle with. He had some tears in his eyes, probably remembering the mistakes that he has made and things that he can't undo. Maybe the humans he just vaporized.
And maybe he saw the previously onto the episode as well that wanted us to remember his trauma.
Yeah. I think it's really, really neat to see it. And I'm glad to see it. As I mentioned before, just hope we're not going to spend too much time in the crossover realm of TOS because I want to see my crew kick ass. I want to see my crew. I want to see this episode from Strange New Worlds Bridge, period.
Yeah. Well, interestingly, what you saying the crossoverness of it all, we're at the exact, I think if my math is right, the exact halfway point between the amount of it won't be just over the halfway point of the amount of Strange New Worlds we're going to have. So there are fewer episodes ahead than there are behind us. So this is where if you're going to be your own TV show, this is where it should be happening right now. So I hope genuinely we are done. And so help me, Lord, if they introduce Bones next week, I'm going to be having words. Quit it. Enough. Or Sulu turns up. For me, I love that final scene. It had the Picard comes in and consoles vibe that always happens at the end of TNG episodes, whether it's Riker, Data, LaForge, whoever needs a Picard pep talk. It felt like that for me with Pike coming in and giving that pep talk to Kirk. And I think where we differ, Aaron, is that I'm more okay with Kirk being different now and evolved. But I do have this cognitive dissonance as well about that smarm should be embedded in his personality and perhaps not learned. But I think there's a more raw Kirk here that I'm completely okay with.
I would like to re-emphasize instead of smarm, because that's kind of become the go-to. I would like to re-emphasize charisma. I think this is a casting mistake. I just think it's, I think you cast somebody with a little more charisma, a little more smile to them. I think it changes a lot. And I don't want to let that be the be all and end all of it. It's just that the show right now feels like it wants, like this episode wants that to be the be all and end all of it. And so that's why it becomes hard. I liked everything about Pike in that final episode or final section of the episode, but
that's really interesting.
It's just weird. For me, if this had been if this had been some other what's his role on the Farragut before the captain goes down?
First officer.
So if this is some other first officer that's dealing with a crisis of confidence because right before their captain, made a decision, they suggested a decision that would have ended in, them all dying or whatever. And so he or she is having this crisis of confidence. And then our crew comes in and Pike becomes a mentor to them. And we see how somebody grows from, into leadership. That's a much more interesting thing to me when I don't have all the baggage of who I've seen Kirk be, whether I'm right or wrong about him already being like that. Yeah. There's baggage there that I have to work through instead of just seeing how our crew helps this one individual, come through it.
But Aaron, it just doesn't matter if it's not a character you know about.
But that's what I'm saying. Again, the show just takes the lazy pathway to entertainment sometimes.
Well, where it would matter is that it would matter because then Pike's character would be emboldened and he would have more dimension because it'd be about Pike instead. And then we through that would be like, oh, well, then we can see how Pike would then mentor Kirk because we've seen him do it with this person. And so it doesn't have to be Kirk. And I understand that. I do. And I think I'm seeing now more and more what you mean about the actor playing Kirk. Like, he just seems more mature than maybe Kirk would be at this stage.
Yeah, you're right. Kirk has a little bit of, delayed adolescence to him, or not delayed adolescence, but
like boyishness,
still in adolescence.
What's that?
Constantly in adolescence.
Yeah, there's a phrase for that. That's just
Arrested Development.
Arrested Development. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
He has a little bit of that Arrested Development to him, where he's still, in that teenage knows everything. Nobody can tell them they're wrong, you know, kind of thing. But
the more we talk about it, the more it does bother me a bit too, because I think this episode tried to also, through like with Kirk specifically, tell us what kind of a person he was, tell us what he struggles with, and then kind of almost come up with some solutions for it before he would have found them himself in TOS.
Yeah.
Which does feel a little wrong. Like, how much better would it have been if he was just a terrible captain the entire episode?
Yes.
That would have been really satisfying.
But again, I think it's miscasting. That's my opinion. I just think they cast the wrong kind of.
And that's a different problem.
Actor.
So do you think these lines, these things work in a different actor?
I think it's possible.
Okay.
That's good
I do.
Yeah.
And I think that actor brings what you're talking about, Deneé, where it feels like even though they're learning something, it's not, this complete roller coaster shift in emotion. Like they're a consistent, character trait while learning something new. And and there's this curiosity when Kirk learns something from Spock. It's like, all right.
Yeah.
All right. And this is just not what this feels like.
It didn't have that vibe. No, you're absolutely right. That was not the vibe at all. And I would either have loved this actor to play a terrible captain so that we believe he has to learn shit later, or, and then maybe he like loosens up, like he starts off pretty serious and then he loosens up a little bit, or like you're saying, a different person come in and all of those lines delivered with a, like just a little bit more, let's see, what's the word? Lack of respect.
Well, I'm not trolling. It was just the best example that came to my brain. Kirk is more Han Solo than Luke Skywalker.
Son of a bitch.
He is though. That's not
yes,
wrong.
He is.
No,
this version
true.
of Kirk feels more Luke Skywalker learning from Obi-Wan. Like,
Solo is Captain Kirk. Kirk was first.
No, sure. I'm just saying personality-wise, that kind of, flyboy,
I get it.
kind of thing.
Your 3-word review for this episode is then just going to be "Shut up, Wesley," which is
fair enough.
I think that's a good point, Aaron, and I'm glad that you mentioned it. I'm sure you're not the only person that's feeling some of those feelings and not either fully able to articulate it yet. But like now that you and I have talked, I can totally see what you're talking about. But I have less experience with Kirk. And so, like I said, I can stretch a lot differently. And for somebody who's new to everything, I think it's going to be just fine.
I also want to say, because look, I'm coming in halfway through the season. I've missed the opportunity to glow about some things from earlier in the season. That I loved the murder mystery episode. I loved the Wedding Bell Blues episode. I don't know how you guys felt about that.
Interesting, man.
I thought that was really interesting. Despite again both of those episodes having pathways to laziness, they felt to me like that it was just like, for instance, in the murder mystery, the pathway to laziness is doing a murder mystery. It's been done. We know the formula. It's easy to get there. But the actual execution, I thought, was really creative, really interesting, gave the actors something really fun to do together, and, showed our crew in a new experience. Plus the holodeck stuff I thought was, really cool in that episode, and the problem solving on the holodeck. And then the Wedding Bell Blues, I just love a shared misreality concept. And I felt like if you're again, the pathway to laziness is the love triangle, right? That's in that episode. But if you're gonna go there to give, Spock and, pardon me for forgetting who Chapel's brought on board that she's with now, but Colby. If you're gonna put those two in a situation, this is a really interesting situation to put them in. As they figure out who they are in relationship to Chapel. So,
I figured you'd love the Trelane callback the most.
Yeah, sure. Fair.
Very on brand for you.
Yeah.
No, I'm glad you've been able to enjoy the season so far, and that you found some joy in it, because I was really I'm always nervous when people watch Star Trek because I love it so much no matter what, but you've definitely had a mixed bag last season as well. So it's really fun to know that you've had a good time with some of this season. Yeah,
those two I would put in the positive category as far as episodes this season.
Nice. Well, let's do some pips for this episode. Commodore, out of 4 pips, you can have 1, 2, 2.5, 3, or 4. Actually, you can have 3.5 as well.
Not 1.5 though?
No, you can have 1, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4.
Is there a canonical reason for this?
Well, there is, but we shouldn't have 3.5, but I've given some 3.5s. It's the pips. So you can have 1 pip, you can have 1.5 pips. You can have 2 pips, 2.5 pips.
This is like listening to somebody list menu options at a restaurant.
What if I said this episode went full Gladys Knight solo career and just left the pips out? There were 0 pips.
Wow. Then I would question how you liked any episodes.
I won't say that.
Amazing.
Let's give it 2 pips.
Fair. Ambassador?
4.
Me, it's 3.5, and I hate it because 3.5 isn't one of the pip things.
Well, then I'm going 1.5. If you're going half, I'm gonna take a half.
1.5,
1.5,
3.5, and a 4 pip. That's for you, Slab.
That's for you, Slab. Yeah, I'm sticking to 3.5. Yeah, I really dug this episode. Okay, let's head over. Where would you like to take us, Ambassador, to answer some emails?
Ooh, to the umbilical room.
We don't have one of those.
Okay.
It was removed. It was causing too many issues every month.
People just kept mispronouncing room, umbilical womb.
Yeah,
yes, exactly. To the captain's yacht.
I do. How do you know about my yacht?
Well, we've talked about it before.
Yeah, but I got rid of it and got a new one and hid it, so you wouldn't.
Well, now you got to show it because you asked me where we're gonna go, and now we got to go there. So that's on you, dude.
3 to beam to my yacht. Okay, hailing frequencies open, everyone. It's time for us to read your messages from Discord, Twitch, and, well, email. I have one from the Discord from Awida. I've actually got a few that are just general reviews. Like, people had immediate feelings about this episode that I really want to share. Awida says, I don't think that showing the origins of the deep trust and respect that the TOS crew had for each other is necessarily a bad thing. I just need them to keep Kirk out of the main focus quite so much, and I'm imparting some frustration. Pike is the captain right now. That said, this really was a good episode. So yeah, I think Weeda falls in the same place roughly that I did, vaguely. But yeah, it seems to be a sentiment that's been echoed. Ambassador, do you have any? And Aaron, feel free to jump in and slam down any opinions that you disagree with.
Nope, I ain't yucking no one's yum.
This one's from Eric earlier, who said the holodeck mystery was an homage to both TOS and TNG. And I just wanted to remind myself of that, because I did not like that episode like you did, Aaron. But I do remember we chatted about that. So yes, I'm glad that it's an homage. But to me, that one felt like a forced, where like I think this episode felt forced to Aaron for this similar reason.
I love it. That's what content does.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But yes, that's right. Thank you, Eric.
From Nick Jagged in the Discord. I love this message from Nick. Yo! Is how the message starts. I was not expecting the emotional response that I had when Spock and Uhura joined Kirk on the bridge in the first 5 minutes of this episode. If that's not a prime example of the power of the show, I don't know what is. Did that hit you as a TOS man, Dicer? Just having him on the bridge? About this,
of course, yeah.
But the love, I want to hear you love it.
I mean, get a real Kirk in there, and then maybe I love it. But
ouch, ouch. Ambassador, do you have any?
Yes, I do. This one's also from CMDR Smith. Mentioning the proto-TOS crew in this episode. I was thinking who is missing to transition, but I think it's just McCoy and Sulu. But since we have a pilot that is going through a mental crisis and an insubordination streak, maybe Sulu is brought in next season. McCoy, I don't know how he would get there unless he comes with Kirk. Sulu could as well, I suppose.
Stop it. Just stop it. I've got enough. I have enough characters. Enough TOS characters.
I really did enjoy the conversations, though, in the chat about the characters that are missing, and like trying to remember when they show up in TOS as well. Like sometimes they show up later, so it's not like we're going to start or we're going to end Strange New Worlds with the beginning of the full known crew of TOS.
And we're not talking about Chekhov because Chekhov comes in during TOS, right?
Well, he comes in.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, the actor appears in season 2, but there is this kind of fan theory that he's on the ship in season 1, which is why he knows about Khan, but he's not. So he's promoted to like a better position.
We could see Chekhov. There's canonically a way that we could see Chekhov.
Yeah,
beyond the ship.
There isn't an episode where he's on the bridge and somebody says, "Oh, hi, Chekhov. This is the first time we're meeting." So yes, he could appear, and that's just part of his history.
So the show has open doors to give us the entire
100%
TOS crew.
100%. Yes. There's nothing stopping them.
Yep.
Okay. It's just not what I want the show to be
Yeah,
about.
fair.
It's fun.
It's
I get it. It's fun. It's
Absolutely,
just,
I get it. Well, with that, let's wrap up the show. Next week, we're going to be covering Strange New Worlds, Season 3, Episode 7. What is Starfleet? How's that for an episode title? Well, if you want to get in touch with the show, email us, Ian at Ian and... Wait, is that the email address? Yeah, it is.
Wow.
If you want to get in touch with the show, send us your questions, thoughts, theories, qualms, and insults. It's Ian at iananddeneé.com. Join the Ian and Deneé Patreon from the 1st of September. That'll be the only place you can get your Captain's Pod perks. And join us for the live show next week, if you so choose, on Monday, the 25th of August. Are we still in August? We're still in August. Yeah, at 12 p.m. Central. Until next week, I'm Captain Ian, and I'm sure the ship is happy screaming, right?
You want to do yours, Aaron?
I am Jedicer, and I am Commodore Dicer. And since we teased something we never paid off, I promise to demote you at the earliest possible opportunity.
Shit.
And it's hate to backseat drive, but you're hitting the wall, Captain.
Oh, well, I could not be truer. Live long and Podsper.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Captain's Pod. If you'd like to get in touch with the podcast, you can send us an email to Ian at iananddeneé.com. And if you want to support the show and get the episodes early, you can go to our Patreon. That's patreon.com/Ian and Deneé. If you want to catch the show live, we have those links down in the description for YouTube and Twitch. And then I think I'm supposed to close this hailing frequency, so bloop bloop, we're out. Star Trek, it's time to watch Star Trek.
No, I hate that. You put lyrics to a song that doesn't have lyrics.
You hate that I do that? I do that all the time.
No, I love that you do that. I was just being a butt because it's Star Wars.
Oh.
Did you know you were humming Star Wars?
No.
Wow. That I hate.
Am I supposed to not like Star Wars because you like Star Trek so much?
No, I just like you to know. You can have whatever feelings you want. But just be aware. There is a difference between the Star Wars.
I think you're going to really struggle with doing a show with me.
I mean, 3.5 years in, now I start to struggle. I'm feeling barbish because I have been spoiled on something that isn't a spoiler, and it's so insignificant, but it's annoyed me because they've done it. And I'm going to get like, old man yells at Cloud about it during the episode.
Oh, yeah.
Before Dicer gets a chance to...
Is Dicer joining us today?
Should be.
Oh, interesting.
That's the plan. We'll see if he gets out of the buffer.
Yeah, I feel bad for you because maybe you're feeling like I've been feeling the last couple of episodes where I really don't know what to say because I think I've been spoiled, but then it come to find out that I wasn't spoiled.
Well, I know that this has nothing to do... This has no bearing on the episode. This is an Easter egg that has angered me. And I know it's weird to get angered by an Easter egg.
No, it's not for you. You hate religion.
Are the eggs religious? It's annoyed me because of the fact that it means nothing. If it meant something, I would be happy. It means nothing, therefore its nothingness is annoying to me.
So how much are you going to be raging about this today?
Until the episode blows my socks off and becomes incredible. I won't spend too much time on it.
Definitely nervous about it today. Definitely
I won't
nervous.
spend any time on it.
I don't believe you.
I won't. Well, no, I'm going to spend some time on it, but I'm not going to. It's not going to dominate the review.
I've been really excited to see more and more Captain's Potters join our little Discord.
Yeah,
Hasn't that been fun?
It. It's so fun.
It feels really like hi it's like when you have a party and you invite people and you just don't know if they're going to actually show up. And when one person shows up, you're like, okay, cool, I can handle that. Like one person's great. And then like more and more come over.
And it's so wholesome, like the Star Trek wholesomeness. Like the danger when you bring a community together is the trolls, but I think I can happily say we don't have a single troll. It is such a lovely little Trek community.
You shouldn't say that. You shouldn't say that. You should never say that.
Come on, trolls, come over and we'll fight you.
Either there will now be trolls, or someone who thought that they were trolling is like, oh, I'm not doing it hard enough.
I need to go harder. There's plenty of people I know are trolling me, but they're not trolling each other, which I like.
Oh, I see. You're the focus.
Yeah, you can troll me all you want.
If you watch on YouTube, go to youtube.com/
coffee grounds in my throat.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't be laughing.
Jesus. That was gross. Something inside the planet burst out. That's my prediction.
And it's Spock's dog.
Oh, yes. Sehlat breaks out of the planet. You left me to die.
Oh, that ship is fucked.
It's the Enterprise. Oh,
Whoa.
I love that. Let's go. Fuck you, planet. Commodore. Sorry, just read your name. For the podcast listener, in the outtakes of the show, Aaron has changed his name to Darth Dicer.
I didn't have one. It just said Dicer, so I just went with the Star Trek theme.
So that's great. Back to the show.